Pamela Dale here with the Softwarepreneur Show. We are episode numero dos. And I'm excited because we have got a special guest here from New York. So you know she's going to bring it. My dear friend, Renee Hribar. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you, Pamela. How are you today?
Fantastic. I am looking forward to this conversation because so many people do not know how to sell. And I have learned from you how to do this. And you are number one and have changed my business and my life.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. So for those who may not know me, I'm so thankful to be here. I am Renee Hribar, sales strategist, TEDx speaker, author. I have lots of different containers that I do the same thing in. And primarily I support women entrepreneurs who are selling for themselves. So a lot of experts that have all the right certifications and background and experience are lifelong learners. And when it comes to actually making an offer, they usually feel a little self-conscious, if not a lot. In fact, the women that I work with typically have lots of referral business, but not a lot of other business, not because they don't do things, not because they don't actively go to events or share their business, but because they're just used to people seeing their work, seeing their value, and then sharing it with a friend. And again, nothing wrong with that. If you're listening to this and you're getting referrals, that means you're really good at what you do. And so where I come into the equation is I help them evaluate their offers, right? Am I making the right offers? The offers that pay me well, the offers that I like to deliver, the offers that set me and my client up for success ongoing, right? Many of the experts that I work with, they say, okay, great. That was great. Super. Bye. And then they're wondering why they're in feast and famine. Like they make a big offer, they do a big project, and then they're starving in December or January or February or July or August when there's this downturn. And so one of the other things that I do is I help them create ongoing support offers that are easy to deliver, easy for their clients to say yes to. And so that's kind of what, if you hang out with me for any length of time in this podcast or others, that's what you'll hear me talk about.
Absolutely. And I love the way that you bring the heart to it as well. And the energy. I think the first time I met you, I was in Connecticut and I heard about you, but we'd not been in the same room. And in regular Pamela style, I might have been looking away when you got up to speak. I was probably on my phone, right? And there was a voice that came and I was like, who is this? And I get goosebumps. I was like, who is this lady? I need to know you. And we specifically here talk to softwarepreneurs or people wanting to build a SaaS business. And do they struggle trying to sell it? So the purpose for this to bring you on, because I know that you can help, especially my passion as well as women. So helping these women sell these software businesses to their clients. Tips, tricks.
Yes. So selling software is something that I've done for years and years. And I think that's how we kind of got to the point where, oh, Renee, you should be on the show. So selling the invisible, right? So selling software is not something you can necessarily touch. You know, we're not getting a CD-ROM shipped to us in the mail.
Right. Microsoft.
Anymore. Right? Enter this 17-digit code quick with 3 letters. Wait, I'll send you the code. Right. So remember those days?
Yes.
So selling software is a service, a solution. And so typically software is anywhere between 500 to 15,000. Sometimes it's more, sometimes less, but typically that's the sale, right? And so sometimes it's a download for one. I have one client who sells software. She's a mathematician and she has a software that she sells for $2,500, but she also has other softwares that can be bundled. And so her typical sale is about $3,500. Well, when we first started working together, she had a list of 22,000 people. She was working actively at a day job, but because of her background and experience, she had created this software mostly for herself. And then she realized, oh, well, I can help other people with this. So she helped other people. And these everybody in her email list had been from her public speaking. She was such an expert in her field, even through her employer, that people had brought her onto stages. And every time she was on a stage, people would just join her mailing list, right? Not even getting emails most of the time. Just joining her mailing list. I'm like, so let's evaluate how often have you emailed them? What have you said? Have you invited them to a demo? So the first month we started working together, she did a live demo. So we sent out emails, invited people, and she set up a live demo, 30 minutes, where she just brought a bunch of people into a room and just showed them how she uses the software because she made it for herself.
Wow.
Well, her 22,000 person list, 17 people came. Of the 17 people, she sold 15.
Wow.
And that was her. So 15 in the first month. And then if you look at the 12 months before that, it was like 12 total, 12
Right.
months before that. So she was like, holy moly, I just made more in a month than I made all year. So now it's been 5 months that we've been working together. And now she's at an average of 20 per month.
That's a game changer in the software business.
Right. And she's
Monthly
a
recurring, monthly recurring revenue. If you get 20 a month and you just run that out, like I see
Right.
2 commas, right? Like it's just, it's beautiful.
So it wasn't mass market, and it was just using what she had. We have, not everybody has a list of 22,000 people, I'll tell you, but she did. And so I'm like, well, let's use that. So looking at what you have, could be a network, could be whatever it is, but bringing them into a demo. And she was a little nervous, but she's like, I loved it. And they asked me questions and then I knew the answer. I'm like, I know, because you're freaking brilliant. So that was what that's, if you're listening to this and you have a software, that's one story of selling that software, just putting it out there.
And what would you recommend to people who do not have a list?
Yeah. So borrow other people's. So find somebody who does something that is complementary. I talk about, if you're a dry cleaner and a house cleaner, you're a match made in heaven, because you both sell to the same people. They're people that have more money than time, and they have dirty houses and clothes.
Exactly.
Work together. So, what does your software complement? What businesses could it complement? And then make friends with those people who already have an audience of 1,000 people, heck, 100 people. It doesn't even have to be 20,000 people or 100,000. It doesn't have to be some guru with a 10,000 a month podcast download. It could literally just be someone who has a Facebook group with 100 people in it. I like small fish bowls.
Right. Features versus benefits. So much can happen with high level when you get into this features, and the list is this long. And before you know it, people have eye rolled and, are thinking about Mexico. What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah. So, so especially as, like, often with software, the developer should not be the salesperson. So when we think about it, like, it's very much like the MP3 player was around forever. But what changed it to the iPod was 1,000 songs in your pocket. Guy from Michigan, by the way, where I live now, thought of it. And so the idea is, well, how do we make it so the user understands what it means to them? Right. This goes for any sale, anytime. What does it mean to them? So think about your software. Think about what is the benefit beneath the benefit, right? More time, more freedom. So when I first came into the credit card processing space in 1999, when small businesses would be like, why do I need a credit card machine? We were running uphill on that sale. So what I would pitch them as is like, listen, all those little entries you have to make, or somebody has to make at the end of the day or the week or the month. Imagine they just automatically uploaded. And we were selling credit card processing for Intuit. So people that had QuickBooks already. I'm like, imagine if it just magically did it with a press of a button. They're like, no way. I'm like, think about how many, let's just say you spend 2 hours a week on average doing it. Oh, it's more than that. Okay, well, let's just say 2 for fun. That's 8 hours. I just bought you a whole day back. What's a day worth? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's right. So now the cost of the actual machine that they needed to buy or rent, at that time, it was really weird and different. Now they just give them away. But at the time you had to buy it, it was like $1,000. Like the cost of that all of a sudden depreciated. Like, oh, I feel like that's a good investment because of that ease of use. So what's important to the person, the end user? What's important to the person putting the money down?
So get to know your people really, really well and dig in and find out what the problems are.
Yeah.
A lot of people I find don't do that work.
They don't, because sometimes they're afraid, or they think they already know, or they're excited about something that is important, especially, again, developers or the people who create, anybody who's on the behind the scenes of this software. You're in it so deep. You're like, it's so good. Do you see this? Like, you're talking about the newest widget and feature because you're psyched about it because you know what it means. But to the person outside, they're like, what? Like, it's like asking a fish, how's the water? They're like, what water? Right? So the developer, the person in it. So the place to start when selling anything, including software, is polling your audience, right? And I don't care if your audience is one person, one other person who will listen to you that isn't in your business, that isn't in your world. They don't know anything about anything. Start polling them. What's important to you? Why is that important? What else have you tried? That kind of thing. Start polling, and then they get closer. Hey, I'm doing some market research. I'm writing an article, or I'm creating a training, or I'm creating a demo for this software I developed. And I'm passionate about it. I know what it can do, but I'm having trouble translating that.
Right.
People get right on board and behind you. Oh, I want to help you train. I want to help you figure it out. People love to help. So don't look at it as those questions as being a burden.
You're familiar with high level through FG funnels.
I'm familiar with Go High Level.
Go high level.
Through Go High Level. Yeah. I mean, I don't have
Yes.
FG funnels now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Would you have a tip or two for someone who would like to sell it?
Go
And
High
even
Level?
as a user on the back end, what?
Right. So like, I think the real big allure is, this is a place you don't have to have this huge MarTech stack, right? Like a lot of people have marketing and technology stacks. I'm spending $10 over here, $50 over here, $30 over here. And at the end of the day, it's super expensive. And I know it's not talking to each other. So I think there's that opportunity of that synchronicity inside. So ease of use, one-stop shop.
Mm-hmm.
We are if you think about what's up here, like Funnel Gorgeous is on top of Go High Level, right? So like, why go to the reseller when you can go straight to the source?
Right. What are 3 of the biggest, best decisions you've made in your business?
In terms of technology, or in terms of sales, or just in general?
Anything in general, but because we're a little bit more focused on sales, but
yeah,
we're all business owners too, right? And there's so much in that space of being a business owner that it's nice to hear how other people have kind of stumbled, fallen, gotten back up, circumvented a couple of issues, got around that one.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first is I knew first and foremost who, not how. So I've read this book, Who Not How, but it's a phrase I've had for a long time. When you come into your business, we always think, well, here's my vision. How am I going to do it? Because that's what we're taught in school. Okay, you want to solve this problem? How are you going to do it? Well, then you immediately think, well, how am I going to do it? And then we think we have to learn everything. So when I came online, if my mindset hadn't been already corrected from the other companies I'd had, I would think I had to learn social media, and I would have to learn Canva, and I would have to learn how to market and how to sell and how. So instead, I knew this already. I said, I know I'm not going to do all this by myself. There's no way in God's green earth. So I know I needed to hire virtual assistants, someone to build my website. I'm not going to go learn how to build a website to then build a website. I'm going to hire somebody to build a website. I'm not going to figure out how to write 10 emails in a row because somebody else can do that. And they're happy to do it because that's their job. They like doing it. So I knew right away I needed to find who's, not how I'm going to do it. So the first and best decision was already knowing, walking into it, I need to hire people. Maybe not forever, maybe just contract, but I needed to get certain things in place. I needed to have a website. I needed to have email. I needed to have a place to send people once I met them. And I wasn't going to do it by myself. When I went to do that, I realized these people were really bad at sales. And so I said, listen, let me help you for free. And then I'll exchange it for you. I'll exchange my rate for yours. How's that sound? They were like, okay. And so that was actually kind of awesome. The second decision after I decided who was going to help me, not how I was going to do it all, is having somebody who is where I wanted to be, mentor me. Now that can look like 1,000 different things. I'm part of the North American Women's Business Organization here locally, but they have an international chapters as well. So there's mentors in there that are further ahead in business than me, or have other expertise that is complementary to mine in spaces I'm not so strong. Because when you think about any business, it's okay, how big do you want to get? Well, I'm saying who, not how. And then who's going to help me, mentor me, guide me. And then the third best decision is getting the books straight. I work with a lot of people that want to make money, and I'm like, okay, how are you going to accept money? Oh, accept payment. Okay. Who's your bookkeeper? I do the books. Okay. Show me.
Yeah. They're like, show me.
So when they say that, they're like, I mean, it gets done. I'm like, okay, by who? My accountant. Okay. Well, where's your books though? Like the regular books, like every month or every week, where's the money coming from? Because you're saying you want to make more, but if you got more, of something you already don't know about, it's gonna make it super stressful for them. And so getting your books in order, a good bookkeeper will cost you $100-$200 a week, and it's worth every single dime. Even if you're literally making $500 a week, you're going to hand it to them, because ideally you're going to make more. Like when you start making $5,000, $10,000, $100,000 a week, you're going to be super thankful that you had that person and that process in place.
You've got fantastic energy. How do you keep it going? How do you show up the way that you do constantly over and over? And the way that you are, I love the promotion and the speaking of to and about other people all day long. That's what I see. I'm like, where do you get this energy from? Where does it come from?
First of all, a lot of what you see online is automations and other people, who's, not how, right? So how, I don't do it myself. That's the answer. So I have a person on my team who takes all my content, because I am always connecting with people, but I also know that content is evergreen, right? So we have a very structured process of constantly adding more people to it. That's what I do. And then she always makes sure we share them out. So if I interview somebody today, they're going to see that interview once, twice, thrice over the course of the year, because once is never good enough, right? We live in the information age. So there's like so much content all over. So how do I do it? I don't do it alone, and I rely on automations.
Yes, automations are powerful. And I think when I speak to business owners, they are trying to do it themselves, and it is exhausting and a lot. So tell us what you're doing right now. How can people find you? Where can they work with you? Talk to me.
Thank you. Thank you. So everything I do, I have courses and programs and masterminds and retreats and events. And my business has grown quite a bit. I'm really blessed to have great who's in my life. Because this is not all me. This is me having an idea and then finding who can help me. And so the best place is my website, reneehribar.com.
We'll drop that. Make sure that everybody has it.
And on there is a free sales training. And that would be the best place I would want you to start. Get in the free sales training. And then anytime I send you an email or then emails get sent, you can hit reply and ask me anything, and I'll make sure to answer.
And that is true. You do. That's why I was asking about the energy, because who's answering all those, right?
Well, I have a team member that goes through my emails, but then she pops them into a special inbox for me, so I don't have to see everything, because that would be overwhelming to me, right?
Right.
And then, probably 4 or 5 a day, I'll have to look at those myself, and then that's okay. That's easy.
Fantastic. Well, to wrap it up, I have one more question.
Okay.
What's a pain that you can't do without? For me, one of them that comes up for me is marriage is hard work.
Okay.
And every day it's like you want to throw, sometimes, right? I want to throw them out, but it's a pain that I want, because the reward of that, me working through that every day, gives me what it is that I really fulfilling part of my life, but it is hard up front.
Gotcha. Okay. So like being a parent, being a wife, being a daughter, being a sister, going to the gym,
being a coach too, all sorts of things, right? Yeah, the gym, all sorts of things. What's one that it is hard, it is out front, it's like this big rock, but yeah, the payoff for you over here is really powerful.
Well, pain is the gym. I love the pain I get from the gym. The pain I had with my husband, I wanted to fix it. So we went to couples therapy, the pain I had with my child, I hired a parenting coach. The pain I had in other areas of my life, like I had a pain in my shoulder, I fell and I hurt my shoulder, I go to acupuncture, so like, I'm not going to just live with the pain. I'm going to do something about it. The case of the pain at the gym, that's the pain I expect. Right. My muscles are sore because I'm getting stronger. I'm maintaining my bone density. I'm of a certain age.
And it's funny because everybody asks that question too. It's usually around the physical side. So the owner, Sean Clark, his was the cold shower. Getting into the shower every morning, same thing. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I used to do that, but my acupuncturist, have you ever been actually, they'd make you look at your tongue, and she's like, nothing cold for you, not even ice cream in the winter or in the summer or something. I'm like, okay. So like literally even I have like my water bottle, but she makes me put it in my mug and warm it up.
Oh my.
So because whatever, my chi is off. I mean, I don't even understand it, but I know that That's what she recommends. So everybody's, because I was doing the cold showers too. That's actually when I hurt my shoulder, I fell at the spa in the cold plunge tub.
No, my gosh. Well, it's so interesting, isn't it? This well-rounded, all of these pieces of being an entrepreneur. And I am so, so grateful to have you on the show today. So that's it. Renee Hribar. We're going to close her down for today. See you on the next episode, everyone.
Thank you for having me.